is only war.
Oh, that's good. What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We did it again. We just won Nova Open, the super major in DC with our Chaos Colt. I got the little trophy right here. So this is the first time we got this little chainsword trophy. We did it not thinking that we could do it, but back-to-back majors. If you guys are clicking on this video, you want to see what won, why it won, what the list was, what I went against. We do a lot of these videos on the Dirtbag Nation over at YouTube. All these videos get posted up ahead of time on Patreon. So if you guys want to support the channel, get a little bit of coaching. We are ranked #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world, or as of right now. We have 2 more majors to come to get into staying in that #1 spot. But in this video, we're going to be going over the first 3 games of Nova. We're going to be going over the next 3 games after that, and then the next 3 games after that in our third part of the video. So guys, I really appreciate all the support. Everybody that I saw at Nova, thanks for coming up to me and just mentioning what you liked about the 40k Dirtbags, what got you into it, how we kind of got you into the competitive scene, and a lot of stuff that you learned from our tactical videos, because we strive to try and teach everybody the core rules as much as we possibly can to get people really good at just winning more games than they play. You don't have to be a champion at this game. It's really just having fun and knowing that you're not messing up a rule, or knowing that you should have done something differently. Like, you just go and play and roll some dice. And a lot of the games that we had at Nova was super fun this year. Like, this year was probably my best year I went to Nova so far, obviously because we did get the win, but the opponents that I played were all super friendly. We only had 1 tight game, but all the other games just ran smoothly. A couple suggestions I did in the Nova email that they sent to us. I would suggest that they allow clock. I think clock came up a bunch in these games, as well as the space was better this year than last year, and the blue hue that they have in the lights, you're gonna see in the pictures that we have here, the hue is just a little bit tweaking in some of the pictures, but we're gonna get into a lot in these videos. It's gonna be a little bit longer. It might be about an hour in each video, but I just want to give a shout out to my Patreons. Again, I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. The Grandmasters and competitive, you guys are getting into that competitive scene. You can sign up for a coaching and we can go over list ideas, tactics, one-on-one calls, all that stuff over the patreon.com. We have Worlds coming up. We actually just got invited to Worlds in November. We won a free flight with this Nova win, so that's pretty cool. We got Worlds, which is over 50 countries flying out to Georgia, and I think 5 different continents. They're all flying out, so it's gonna be insane. I'm gonna do a lot of videos on that one. We got LVO, which is Las Vegas Open. If you guys haven't gone to Las Vegas, Mike Keevil actually went right when he started 40k, lost most of his games, but he learned so much and had so much fun. Definitely find a group, and if you guys can come up and meet us there, that'd be freaking awesome. But Las Vegas Open is coming up in January, which will be the last ITC ranking win games that they have, so we definitely have to make it out to there. I already said that we're #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world, so that's pretty legit. And then we have the Dirtbag merch. So the Dirtbag merch is up on Discord. If you guys want to hop over to Discord, it's one of the best Discords out there. We have the poker chips, which I actually used in the final game against Tony, and we put those on the Games Workshop stream. So there's some Dirtbag tokens that we used for ritual and objective markers and sticky. So those things are legit. They're poker chips. We have all the proxy models. So old school Cypher, which is so much better than the new Cypher, or old school Codiez, which is way better than the new Codiez. We have a sick ass Cypher proxy. We have a Tech Marine, which is super hard to find. We have Phobos Librarian, Phobos Captain, and the Calidus Assassin, which should be in every single Imperial list out there. Same with Cypher. And then we have the widgets. The widgets are legit. Watch the last game that we have on stream. They didn't let me go on stream because most of my models are 3D printed for my cultist. So Games Workshop said, hey, we have no choice. He's the final opponent. We have to put him on stream. So we'll get into that in the third video. And then we have the dice. So the silver dice are sold out. We only have about 30 left of the black dice, about 30 left of the green dice, 200 of the orange dice, and about 50 left of the blue dice. Once they're sold, they are gone forever. All the stickers are $3 each. They're legit. You can put them on the cases or anything you guys have. And brand new news, we have a merch store. So I was super excited to make this. I literally spent hours and hours and hours making these designs and putting them up on the web for you guys. But all of these, we have sick ass desk mats, which I just ordered one myself. We have these tumblers, which are dishwasher safe. I ran mine the other day to test it. We have tumblers, we have mugs, we have hoodies. I ordered the hoodies kind of like see how they are. But it's basically that athletic material, which are legit. We have some hats, koozies, obviously because the Dirtbags can't have it without beer. We have the beer stein, really cool shirts. We got the muscle tees, the hats, the trucker hats. I just got mine. It's super comfortable. We have the jerseys and all these stickers you can get on t-shirts as well. Same with the hoodies, shorts, legit. So I just had to throw that out there because this is brand new. So it's going really well. A lot of people, a lot of the Patreons are supporting the channel and getting the Dirtbag merch. But yeah, if you guys want to head over there, all the links will be in the description below. We're talking to a bunch of sponsors coming up and new on the channel. Rexar Lasers, still one of the biggest sponsors we have. Shout out to Rexar Lasers, who provides the terrain for us that we use in all of our battle reports. And the clear plexiglass, if you guys want clear plexiglass, which you can take to any store, any game store, and put it down and use really good Games Workshop terrain, that's in the link below. Make sure you use the code DIRTBAG so you guys get free shipping on orders of, I believe, over $99. Or it might be $50. I think it's $50. Yeah, so we're going to get into this video. We're going to talk about the first 3 games, picture by picture, turn by turn, what we did good. Then we got the next 3 games and the next 3 games after that. So depending on what video you're clicking on, you probably already heard this. You can just skip forward to this part and we'll come back with some pictures for you guys to go over how the hell Chaos Cult won its second super major. All right, guys, so this is the list for the Chaos Cult. So it's basically the same as what we did for Lone Star Open that we won. So the only thing that changed is the Beast of Nurgle. Beast of Nurgle actually came in clutch in this weekend, but we'll go straight down it. Guys, it's Cypher. Cypher should be in every single Chaos Space Marine list. If you don't have him, I got him to sell for the proxy. Really cool Cypher model, but Cypher, legit, Vect. I played him very defensively. He didn't die, I don't think, once this weekend. Just give you an idea of how much pressure the Chaos Cult puts into him, and you playing them defensive, he might have died once. I have to try and remember, but playing him very defensively and using him to your advantage, I use them mainly for Vect. So if I can, or not Vect, you have to run them for Armor Contempt. So they have to use 2 CP for Armor Contempt, use 2 CP for Heroic, use 3 CP for an Interrupt, or 3 CP for a Fight on Death. So super good at eating up the opponent's CP that they did not plan to eat up. We have a Dark Apostle with a Tainted Vigor. This guy is the Leadership 5 in your army. When I say he's Leadership 5, nobody really believes it. I have to pull it up and say, nope, he's Leadership 5. And then he can take another unit out of Battle Shock. So this is really good for the 1 CP that it's full Rerolls Day and Wound. So if you really need to get that off, you're basically moving up or advancing them up to the other unit. Say, hey, that unit now is not Battle Shocked. And then they can kind of go up and go kill whatever they want to kill. So he's really good at keeping an objective with his Accursed Cultist unit. With being Leadership 5, he's really good against Tyranids, making another unit not Battle Shock, because that came up a lot. And he could bring 3 models back. So that's the enhancement on him. With the enhancement of bringing 3 models back, it doesn't say 3 little guys or 3 big guys, it just says 3 models. So you can bring 3 big guys back if you roll that 3, which is 9 wounds just coming back to the squad, and they hit really freaking hard. And it helps extend the range for a charge as well. So turn 1, if you roll like a Dark Pact or a getting the extra move and you kill a guy, you're like, great, that's going to be the guy that I'm going to bring back next turn to help increase my charge turn 2 a lot. So if you fail the Desperate, great. If you succeed a Dark Pact or try and re-roll it to try and fail it, this will go for the same thing for the other Dark Commune, but try and fail it so that way you kill the guy and then you can make 1 guy next turn. So that's like big brain thinking for turn 2. Then we have the Dark Communes. So one of them has the Goad, one of them has the Foresight. I think the Goad is the +1 strength. So this one is key for killing vehicles, higher toughness models, stuff like that. But they're the ones that are coming in from reserves every single game. So they need to hurt themselves. So when they come in from reserves, they're rolling a Desperate Pact, even though they can't move or advance, or they want to try and charge, they can't do it. So you're just trying to kill a guy, but mainly you're walking on the table edge, and then you're trying to do a Dark Pact to try and kill you guys. So if you pass the Dark Pact, roll it again to try and fail the Dark Pact, and then kill one of your guys. So you're trying to kill one of your guys on purpose, at least one, so that way it procs the +1 strength, because the +1 strength is only when you kill a guy, and then you get +1 attack if you're at below half strength. So usually when all the little guys are dead, you're now at half strength, so all the big guys are doing d6 +3 attacks at strength 6, which is just brutal. So that's that unit. Then we have the Dark Kami with the War Foresight. This is the Scout 6 guys. So I spread them out. I did the yellow unit, which is the Scout 6. They have the wings, which makes sense. We have the red guys, which are like the corn guys, which are the +1 strength, which makes sense. And then we have the green guys, which are the Vigor, who comes back, which is like Nurgle. So I kind of color coded them and made it easier for my opponent to know exactly which unit belongs in which unit. Fabulous Bile. I love him. I brought him in the list when I first made this list. If you have a guy in your army that can come back on a 2+, put him in your list. See how good he is, and see how annoying he is to deal with. There even is a kill team guy, or Deathwatch guy, the new guy that comes back on a 2+. Even if he's solo, just coming in from reserves, running up and doing something, and then killing a bunch of shit and getting back up. Like, he's a really good piece for secondaries. So he is in the list because he'll gain the keyword for Damned when he joins a Damned unit of Cultist. So he gets to go in the Rhino, move out 11 inches. He has an anti-infantry 2+ pistol, 3 shots. He can explode on 6s, 2 damage, AP1. He gets a blank a damage roll. He gets to add a toughness to the Cultist, so the toughness 4. Like, he does a lot for this list, guys. He is like the backbone of the backfield of my list. He's always in the north of the map. He's always on a Rhino. He's tanky as all hell. He's super quick and usually gets across the board to go get the second or third wave into my opponent. So I love Fabulous Bile. For 85 points, he is so worth it to bring into this list. We got 5 cultists. They're all 10-mans to stop the horde. Called the Horde. So to stop the opponent from getting easy points by killing 20 cultists, or having like 2 cultists left, and then they just throw a random crack missile into them and then kill the last 2, get a 5 points. I bring all 10-mans because I just want to go for mass bodies and mass options of spreading out and blocking up the field. So that's why we brought 50 of them, and they all have sticky objectives. So you kind of run up, make an objective sticky, and then just keep pushing forward if they don't have any reserves. Then we got 6 full max Trader Guardsmen units, which are all battle line. So battle line is really good in most of Pariah Nexus. They have a lot of secret missions that you get for battle line, and special things that you can do actions with. So having like 13 of these guys in your list is just so good. I tested out this in the last couple missions or things, was the plasma gun, the flamer, and not the grenade launcher. This is my old list. I switched the grenade launcher for the melta gun. So all these guys have a melta, plasma, and flamer. The melta just hilariously being able to wound a tank, auto wounding on a 6 is just hilarious. So that's why we brought the melta. Just had a little bit extra like d6 damage coming into the list. The grenade launcher didn't really do anything. I brought it for the hordes. I never faced a horde and just didn't do anything for me. And the flamer just for chaff, sisters, Eldar, small other cultists, stuff like that. So then the Rhino, we brought the Rhino. This is Doug's idea. So the Rhino's in there to do secondaries, really, to be a quick movement piece, to hide usually turn 1 and turn 2 until they bring it down, and when they get bring it down, they can't ditch it because I have a Rhino. So it's the only vehicle on the list, and you're hiding it most of the time because if they bring it down, they can only get 2 points on it, and they can't ditch it. So it's a really low secondary for them to score, as well as they have to kill it around the 205 bodies that they also have to kill in front of them. So the Rhino's there to transport Fabulous Bile with 10 cultists and just be super annoying. All right, so then we got the triple ACDC, or Curse Cultists. They are just insanely good. I would say their points could go up 10 points each. I would be fine with that. If they went up 20 points each, I would be fine with that. If they go up 30 points each, I would not be fine with that. Or if they got rid of Howling Horde, I would not be fine with that. So this list could potentially change going into the next LVO. Then we traded our spawn for Beast of Nurgle. Beast of Nurgle came in clutch this whole weekend. I'll explain why in each game. Toughness 9, 7 wounds, 5 up invuln, heals every phase that you don't kill it. Gives me another deep strike option instead of just the sisters just the demonettes. I now have another option for a deep strike unit doing secondaries, which is mainly his function. He comes down, does a secondary. If there's no secondaries for him to do, comes down, sits on a point, and just waits. Then we got 10 demonettes, another deep strike unit that has an 8-inch on the charge out of deep strike because of the either instrument or icon or whatever gives it them. I don't know. One of these two gives it to them. They're OBSEC 2 as well. So anything with OBSEC 2 with this amount of bodies is just super hard to chew through. They steal objectives a lot, and their speed like 7 or 9. Usually they just come down and charge or die, but they're really quick if they come down and don't die, so they can move up and then charge. And being OBSEC 2, that's basically 20 OBSEC you can get on a point to steal it, even in the backfield objective. Because usually you're pushing one side and then they don't have anything to go behind your Accursed Cultist, so they're usually pushed in their deployment zone. So you can just deep strike your demonettes right behind your units and then charge through them to get into their deployment zone on turn 2 usually. So I really like them. They are the tax to bring in the Seekers, but for the last 2 GTs, the Lone Star Open, they actually won me Lone Star Open, and then this GT, they actually played a huge role in a lot of these missions, especially with Overwatch and stuff like that. So really good for the Demonettes for 100 points. They went down 10 points. And then Nurgles, they are only there for the scout move. So anytime somebody else has infiltrate and we roll off to see who places first, I always place first. So that way I can put my Nurgling unit out front. So that way I can move up my scout, Accursed Cultist unit, and then my scout Seekers. So they are specifically in the list only for that. If there's no infiltrate, I might put them last, and then just have them be there for the -1 to hit, or it's really good in the melee armies like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, other Chaos Space Marines, World Eaters, and Space Wolves. So it's really good just for those matchups. Yeah, so Nurglings are actually pretty key in the list. And then the Seekers. So the Scout 9, Speed 14, +1 to advance, +1 to charge, and reroll advance, reroll charges. They can't advance to charge, but still the rerolls are nuts. So they are just bulleting across the board to be annoying and usually spreading out to block off the opponent from doing anything turn 1. So that's the secret mission. That was the secret tech going into 10th edition. I was like, these guys are insane. We're putting them in every list, and they are still in almost all of my horde lists with the Accursed Cultist. So that's the list, guys. Let's get into the battle report of game number or whatever video you guys are watching. So this is game 7 of the Nova Open GT win major, 400 players. Before that, we got a Combat Patrol up for sale on the Discord. If anybody's interested in Drakari Combat Patrol, I will not be playing Drakari anytime soon. So hit me up if you are interested in purchasing that we won at Nova Open. It will be on a good discount. So let's get into it. We have another T-Suns player. This is the matchup I did not want. This is a matchup he did not want. So secretly, we both did not want to face each other. We have the Horde build, and he's got Forge Fiends, which in T-Suns are a lot cheaper than our Forge Fiends and Chaos Space Marines, and his Vortex Beast you heard in my last video. If you guys haven't seen video 1 and video 2, make sure you go check out video 1 and video 2, then come back and see this video. But we're going to go over all 3 games. What won it, the last game, super excited to talk about that with Tony. But then this game, this was, so I knew that we had to play Kill More mission. We actually have it right here. So this is clutch, this is from Craig, but I would definitely prepare this every GT that I go into for multiple days. Basically gives you round 1, 2, and 3 missions, mission rule and deployment, and then it actually has the deployment measurement there that you can print out for each day of the GT packet. So basically, it helps out so much. Like, it keeps everything organized. Now, with Purge the Foe, I knew that was my hardest mission going into this GT, and we got past it day 1. It was the first or second mission of day 1. We got past it. We're like, all right, we got the hardest mission that we have out of the way. we're good. Then after day 2, I found out that our next mission is Purge the Foe going into day 3 in the top bracket, top 16 players against really hard opponents. So I said, I'm screwed. I'm probably going to lose this mission. I'm going into T-Suns. He's got Forge Fiends. He's got all these like big monster beasts. I'm like, I'm probably going to lose this game. So I'm super excited about talking about this game specifically because of what he could have done differently and what I could have done differently to win or lose this game. So this is the deployment. We are playing Stepping Stone. So basically you go up 20 inches, go down, and then diagonal again. So for these guys aren't deployed yet, but I put out my red squad because this is smoke and mirror, so you're actually able to take units off the table on turn 1 before you go to see who goes first. So I put these guys down first just to try and see if I can tempt him from doing anything. So he lines up like a bunch of guys to move up and then shoot these dudes. Keeps a lot of guys away over here so that way they can't run that way and do it. So they kind of helped a little bit, and then after we were done deploying, I just picked them up and put them off the table because they're in reserves every single game. So there was the smoke and mirrors play. Boom. It wasn't really exciting, but it actually worked out a little bit. But this is honestly one of the best players I've seen and played against because of how he did his deployment as well as his movement. So he was measuring threat ranges the entire time. He asked like, what's the threat ranges of your Chris Cultist? I say 28 inches, and then the scout I would give 32. So basically you can see he started everybody as far back as he possibly could outside of engagement range turn 1. Then I was explaining to him like, hey, I have the slingshot effect like Ricky Bobby where I can charge in, tag something, and then pile in behind it. So basically I can go like a max 6, 14, and then another 14 plus another 3. So like if you measure that out, it's just insanely far. Now what I mean by slingshot for anybody who's new to 40k is, let's say these guys advance up, they move up 6, and then they advance, let's say to here, right? I'm about 7 inches away from this guy right here, and then the other guys are closer. So I'm gonna pick this as my charge target. So when I charge into this unit, this guy that's back here, that's 7-8 inches away, he can basically charge diagonal, ending closer to this unit. So let's say he ends the charge because he can't get base to base because I tied up all the little guys base to base, so he physically can't get base to base. So he's able to make a successful charge by charging past him, ending 7 inches away, if not closer, like 6.99 inches away closer, and staying in coherency, which he would. So let's say this dice is where he ended. Okay, then he's able to pile in towards the closest enemy unit, which would be this vortex piece. So then he would be able to pile in 3 inches and tag this vortex piece turn 1 with that slingshot effect. So this is what makes this army so deadly, is the movement phase, the charge phase, the pile in and consolidate phase. And people who aren't prepared for that, he basically would have most of his vehicles and guys back here or on the line that he would have been able to get charged turn 1, even at the farthest distance. So that is kind of like what you'll see me do on a lot on our streams and stuff like that. I have about 4 or 5 stream games with this at GTs, at Lone Star Open that we won, and then here on the last game, and then a lot of competitive battle reports on the channel that you'll see me do the slingshot and stuff like that in every army. Every army can do that. You just have to make sure you're doing it correctly and measuring the right movement. So if I put all my guys within 2 inches of these guys and I make that charge, they have to then end 2 inches away. So that's why you kind of tag out your big guys as far away as possible, and keep your little guys close, so that way when you charge in, they can then end essentially 12 inches away past them, and they successfully made their charge. So leave in the comments below if you have any questions about that. But if you want competitive play and competitive coaching, head over to Patreon for the competitive Dirtbags, because we teach all that stuff. So we have everything on the line. We have a scout move, so these guys were 6 inches away of this wall right here. So if I did go second, they're then going to scout 6 inches diagonal behind this wall, so that way he's going to have a lot tougher turn 1 shooting phase, because they're now behind cover. These guys are all behind cover over here, so he doesn't have a lot of line of sight to shoot the green unit. He can move up Magnus, like, obviously double up there and get line of sight, but then he's leaving Magnus exposed. So I knew he wasn't going to do that. So he deployed defensively, I deployed offensively, but I can be defensive if I get the scout move. Then these guys turn 1 would just move up behind this wall anyway as well. Same with the Seekers. So we get first turn into obviously T-Suns with Magnus. He scout moved up, his guys moved blocked turn 1, which was great. I didn't get the best charge off turn 1, so I couldn't tag his beasts in the back here, because with the Howling Horde, if I tag his beast turn 1 and then he falls back, I can then potentially tag him again if he starts shooting at me. So I yeeted them forward, which is what I've been doing all Nova, and I try to be a little bit more defensively, so I stayed 3 inches away from this objective. So that way, when I pile back, I can pile back near the objective to get closer to the objective after I charge forward. So I think that's what I did here, and now they're gone. So smoke and mirrors, baby. So when I charge forward, I then pile back onto the objective, so that way they can move back this way behind the wall. So when I charge forward, kill all the scouts, give them a CP because T-Suns, I can then pile backwards towards these 2 objectives, because now I can end on it within 3 inches. So that's a little trick where if you move forward, kill them with the big guys in your Dark Commune unit or Curse Cultist unit, and then have your little guys tag back, so that way when you pile backwards, you're piling back towards the closest objective, and then your big guys can move back behind a wall, so they're hard to get shot and stuff like that. So that's a little trick that we used for this play. And then the Seekers basically just scattered up. I think I had control the center turn 1, so that's why they were on both objectives, controlling this one and that one. And I spread him out as much as possible behind the terrain, so that way if he does have some line of sights, I can pick and choose which terrain or which objective marker I want to stay on after he kills them. Because if he kills all but one, I'm like, all right, where did he move his guys? And where can I leave my dude? So can I leave this guy or can I leave this guy, right? So I put 2 on this objective, 1 on that objective. Green guys obviously ran up. Cypher's back there. I'm going to try and keep him safe as much as possible until he starts moving forward. All the other guys spread out. These guys spread out. They're within 8 inches of this objective, so that way next turn I can move up 8 inches if I have to do a secondary. And then all these guys just advance forward as much as possible to get on this objective. Now you can see how far away we are. This will come up in a little bit. So Beast is over there. Rhino's right there. He moves up 8, and then he's like within, I don't know, 10-inch charge or something on the other side of the wall. His turn 1, he freaking makes the 10-inch charge. So he has an option down here. There was 1 guy left on this objective. He can make a 10 going this way because he has to do the pivot and then move up and then move over and then move over again. So it's a really awkward charge distance, but he moves up and he could potentially get a 10 here or try and get a 10 up here. Instead, he shoots this guy off the objective with the Demon Prince. So he shoots that guy off the objective, killing that guy, which means he has to make a 10-inch charge here, or I get 8 points for the primary, because I would be able to hold more, because he only holds his backfield objective. He doesn't hold this one. Nobody holds the center, and I hold this one and that one. So if he doesn't make this charge, a 10, crazy, I would have had 8 on primary, which is insane going into T-Suns on this matchup. So he kills, obviously, the full yellow unit, like, pretty easily. He's got everything, every option to choose from. And then he kills all of the Seekers with some random shots, the Forge Fiend shots and stuff like that. So his beast is now closer. I have these guys pretty close. Like, even if I move up 8, I get to here, and then I'll have like a 6-inch charge to this beast at the bottom. He's got the spawn back here, Demon Prince, Magnus moved over this way. The other beast back here, Forge Fiend, 1 Forge Fiend's in reserves, and then this guy over here. The characters and everything, again, standard T-Suns list, but all the characters are kind of chilling back here, waiting to go. He did play defensively. This turn 1, I said he should have kind of moved up forward into this terrain feature to prevent me from like coming in from reserves, getting a ton of shots from Overwatch, stuff like that. So he was very defensively this game. But he makes the freaking 10-inch charge. He rolls a 12. So he just launches his beast up here, steals that objective. He then saves the 8 for the primary. So because I only hold 1 objective now, because the Rhino was 2 OPSEC. He's 4 or 5 or something. So he steals that. I still have all my cultists back here ready to move up and do secondaries. These guys are ready to launch out. So let's get into turn 2. Turn 2, these guys make their charge. They do the full rerolls to hit and wound onto the beast. Should have killed it. This guy, and it's funny because I was making fun of his dice the entire game. It's a dice game, guys. You can't complain about dice, but you can fuck around with people and say like, dude, your dice are weighted and stuff like that. But he rolled like 15 feel no pains into this this beast. I think I wounded him like 26 times or something. with the full rerolls to hit and wound. So this beast should absolutely be dead. He rolled 15 or something, feel no pains. The last 2 rolls were from the character, which he also has AP 1-2 damage. So I do the last rolls on him. He then rolls, I'm like, he's got 2 dice left. He fails 1, and then he has 2 feel no, like, bro, if you roll 2 feel no pains, I'm literally walking away. So he rolls a 5 and a 6, and I literally just get up and I'm like pretending to walk away to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. Like, everybody, we were like yelling, everybody was walking over and watching our table because we were on table 1. So everybody was like walking over and watching and like going like crazy, like, oh my god. But yeah, it was bullshit. It was a dice game, guys. It's a dice game. You can roll hot, stuff like that. It's funny because at the end of the game, his buddies come over and said, like, oh, you complained about his dice too? I was like, all right, so it wasn't just me. His buddies who play with him all the time say his dice are freaking hot. So I just want to get that out of the way because that was most of the first turn. And most turn 2, he made a lot of saves. And his Forge Fiend rolled 9 for the shots, which I was like, oh, of course, right? And he makes a 12-inch charge. So all right, whatever, that's out of the way. Let's just get out, have fun, guys. All right, so he charges the thing. I back up, I get Bile out of the combat, out of the thing up here, and then I fall back the Rhino back here. Bile then moves up where the Rhino was, and then the green squad moves up as well. So I want to basically put as many bodies on this objective as I could. Now, when I shot everything into this Forge Feed, he did fail a lot of saves with this guy. I mean, I had a Melta, Plasma, grenades, Bile shots, like everything that I possibly could going into this guy went into this guy. So I took him down to like 6 or 7 wounds before I charged him with Bile in the other squad. So that actually killed him with the shots and charges with Bile. So I took out 1 Forge Beast up top here. And then these guys left enough room for me to fit an entire 21-man brick out of his deployment zone and out of 9 inches of this guy and this guy. So him making that 12-inch charge left a gap right here that I was able to, and I measured this like 15 times. He kept measuring it, stuff like that. We both agreed that finally I couldn't do it without getting line of sight. Like, I was trying to get completely behind this little rectangle, but I couldn't fit this one last guy. And then I was like, fuck it. I put it down and I just walked away. Do you want to Overwatch? Because if he does Overwatch, I then get to move closer to him, which would help me make that charge. So I thought too much about it. I should have just brought them in and said, all right, do you want to Overwatch? And he would have said no, because then I had to move closer, and then I would have got like a 3-inch charge. So I should have just kind of moved them up within line of sight outside of 9 and then Overwatch. So I kept my Mind Seeker within range so that way he can do some Mind Bullets into his 2 damage or 2 wound guys back here. He could have shot the Forge Fiend, same exact thing. Any Overwatch, I would have moved closer. So Demonettes were able to come down here. So I have 2 options. I can deep strike the Demonettes, 8-inch charge to try and steal the home field objective. I can try and make a 9-inch over here, try and steal the home field objective and kill all of his Marines. So this is a game-winning play right here. This is the same thing that happened in the last T-Suns game, where I was like, all right, if I make the 9, I win the game. If I don't, this unit's dead. So we did it again. So these guys came on. Beast of Nurgle came down in the center. These guys scooted up on the objective to camp that. These guys backed up because I didn't need them this turn. They're actually doing an action in this little terrain feature. If I do the action here, action in my home field, I get 3 points, I believe. Nurglings moved back, and then all right. So with this is what basically won me the game. How he played this turn was he was trying to kill the AC/DC units, or at least the red unit, to try and take them off the table. And this is where he messed up because he wasn't playing the mission. Again, when we went over the mission, it's basically you have to kill more to get points. Now I have a ton of small units that you can just kind of chew through and one shot and stuff like that. But he really focused fire to try and kill one AC/DC brick unit to just take them off the table. I think he was more fearful of that than playing the mission. If you would have played the mission, I think these Vortex Beasts wouldn't have charged all the way forward to not kill anything. I think you would have played them back a little bit further and used them like as their flamer shots, blast shots, all that stuff. And obviously he let me these guys come in. So this is what happened. He moves up his flamers to get line of sight to this one dude within 12 inches. He moves up his Forge Fiend right here to get line of sight, or he's on the other side, so to get line of sight into this guy. He brings in his other Forge Fiend back here in the corner to get line of sight on these guys. And then Magnus double moves moves from back here all the way up to here. So Magnus is basically sitting on this objective near the Demonettes, and then he has line of sight here. So he has Vortex Beast, Flamers, Flamer, Doombolt, Forge Fiend, and Magnus all lined up to kill this unit off the board. So what we do is he shoots, I believe, Magnus first. So Magnus starts shooting this way into these guys, and he kills a bunch of them. He kills a bunch of small guys, a bunch of, you know, the dudes in cover. So what I'm doing is I'm removing this guy, all the small dudes over here that make this guy closer. And now since this Forge Beast is basically 9 inches away, this Forge Fiend, or this beast, becomes closest model. So the closest model that lives is, I believe, the character. So once we got shot by Magnus, we then moved off of the terrain feature and went backwards. So the closest model, which might have been this guy, moved directly towards this dude, and everybody else kind of moved diagonal behind the cover. Now these Flamers can't see anybody. Now this Forge Fiend can't see anybody, and this Beast can't see anybody, as well as the other dude, the other character guy. So only thing that can see this unit right now is the other Forge Fiend that came in back here, right there. So this is how the setup was. So you can see Magnus in the center, Forge Fiend, this Beast, all of these guys lined up, and then this Forge Fiend back here. I then move... Shit, so this guy wasn't there. So closest guy was Magnus. All right, my bad. Closest guy was Magnus. So I'm able to move directly towards Magnus this way. And all the other guys can go diagonal. So they all just kind of move this way. And then finally at the end of it, this is where we end up. So the closest guy was right there. So I have to move directly towards Magnus this way. So all these guys then can move anywhere they want, all behind this line of sight right here. And this is basically what won me the game, because these Flamers weren't able to shoot me. The Doombolt and shit wasn't able to shoot me. I mean, he Doombolt, I think, with Magnus, but these guys weren't able to do anything. Nothing. And this guy shot to end it off. So we now have 2, 4, 6 Demonettes that can soak up the Overwatch for me. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big guys, which now they're at +1 strength, +1 attack, and they have the advance in charge this turn because I didn't use it yet. +1 hit, +1 a wound. And it's about to be really bad for the T-Suns player. Now down here, the Beast again was only on 1 wound left because he made a million field no pains. The Demon Prince charged in, the Spawn charged in, and it was in combo with the air. So I believe I had 3 CP left. He didn't charge me because he couldn't with anybody over here, so we went over here. Now he charged me with Demon Prince and the Beast. The Demon Prince went first, did a couple attacks into me. He kills all but like 3 big guys and my character. I then spend 2 CP to interrupt, and I said, hold on a minute, timeout. Did you kill anything yet this turn? And he's like, nope. And I was like, holy shit, like, am I about to win the kill more mission against T-Suns? And I think the reason was because using the terrain to our advantage, not being able to kill this unit off the table. That would have been 2 kills right there. And then instead, I'm like, do I split attacks and go for killing like the Spawn and the other guy? And then if I fail to kill the other guy, I don't get the points. If I fail to kill the Spawn, I don't get the points. So I just said, fuck it, interrupt everything into the Beast, into the Vortex Beast. Because if I kill the Vortex Beast, I killed 1 on my turn, and then I killed 2 on his turn. And if he does finish off this unit, it would only be 1. So I would kill 2, he would kill 1, I would get kill more. So basically I would have gotten 8 on kill more because I killed more than him this turn. And again, he didn't finish off another unit besides this little guy down here, but even after the Beast went, he didn't finish off this unit. I still had 2 guys, so he got 0 for killing a unit this turn. That was insane. That was basically game right there, because I now have a fully buffed up unit that's about to move up, charge, kill all of his guys in the back here. The Demonettes move up first. So the Demonettes move up first. I say, do you want to Overwatch? He said, well, I mean, if I don't, then you're just going to use them to stop the Overwatch in the charge phase. I'm like, yep. So what I would have done was this guy and this guy is like within 8 inches or so. So I would only need a 6 on the charge with the +2 to charge. So the Demonettes would charge in first, stop the Overwatch, and then these guys would charge after. So he Overwatches the Demonettes, kills the Demonettes, because obviously Flamers and killing Demonettes. Then these guys advance up, get within 2 inches of these guys, and then we basically were going to charge, kill all these, character, and just kill all of this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 kills there. We probably would have finished up the Spawn and Demon Prince over here with these guys, because I bring back, I think, 2 big guys in this turn, because he brings back D3 guys, so I bring back 2 big guys. So I have 4 big guys over here with my character to finish off the Demon Prince and the Spawn and all these guns coming up. I literally brought on everything. So on turn 3, I bring in guys back here, I bring in guys over here, I shoot this character dead, I put a bunch of wounds into the Spawn coming in this way. So basically I shoot everything this way, shoot there, kill that guy, get a charge off on this dude over here. So basically I have, I don't know, a ton of OBSEC over here. We still have this objective. We're throwing all of the guys into Magnus up here. So these guys are scooching up this way, scooching up that way. Nurglings are moving up, Beast and Nurgle moving up. Like everything is now on this point. And then everything's moving up. So basically we have all the objectives. He's about to get 0 again for primary. And then we go into, this is where it ends up. So we brought these guys in over here. I have 5 minutes left because of clock. So I have 5 minutes left on my turn. He has 17 minutes. We make the charge off on this guy over here. So these guys are 2 OBSEC each. We make the charge off over here. We're getting that character in combat. Bile gets out to join the fun over here. We've got like 30 OBSEC on this point. And then we got a bunch of OBSEC on this point. We got 10 dudes in the back here camping the home field objective. Cypher moves up. All these guys fall back, because I don't want to get attacked in combat. I just kind of want to fall back, camp the point, and then all these guys move up and charge everything over here. He doesn't have enough to chew through all of this. And then these guys came on, killed the Zancor on disc, and that was it. So at the end of the game, we finish up. We called it after round 3, I believe, because after my turn 3 there really wasn't anything else he can come back, because we had 4 turn 1, he had 4 turn 1, we had 8 and 4 turn 2, he had 0 and 4 turn 2, and then we had 8 and 8, he had 0 and 4, 8 and whatever, 8, 0 and 4, and then on the 5th turn he probably would have got 8 for killing more. So we had 100. He had 0 for secondaries turn 1, 4 turn 2, 0 turn 3, 3 turn, 8 turn 4, and then 5 turn 5. So he finished up with a 64, and we finished up with 100. So this was such a crazy game, crazy matchup. I knew the Forge Fiends were just going to obliterate my 21-man squads, but playing the terrain as best you possibly could, him starting as far back as he did, and not getting the right order of activation, I guess, with this first. I think I would have shot all the Flamers first, then Magnus, then the Forge Fiend, and maybe keep this Forge Fiend back to shoot something else. So it was just order of activation, I would say, with the Horde move, which is basically what won me the game, because without these guys charging the backfield and killing all of these dudes, I don't know if it would have definitely went more turns, but this definitely saved me the game going in this round. So again, I brought him on turn 2, try and make a 9-inch charge to end the game, failed the charge, re-rolled it, failed it. He can make a 10-inch charge. I was like, hey, I can make a 10-inch charge too. Didn't happen. Demonettes failed as well, so I could have had the Demonettes charge in to steal the objective and get him another 0 for primary, but they failed as well. So I failed 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 charges. 4 charges this turn. Yeah, but again, it played in our favor because we were able to kill what we needed to kill, which were the Vortex Beasts. So we killed that to shooting in my turn, and then we killed this in combat in his turn, and that's what basically got us kill more. So super fun game, great opponent, awesome dude. We were again joking the entire time about the dice. I gave him a dirtbag dice, so hopefully that rolls well for him as much as his other dice. But yeah, scary list, scary matchup, and we got it on the first game of day 2. All right, so this goes into game 8. This was against a awesome dude who plays Chaos Space Marines, and it was a match for the ages. He's running triple ACDC with Raiders, which is a very, very good Chaos Space Marine build, against our Chaos Cult list. Now, when we got paired up, we're like, we actually deserve this. Like, us going head to head into this matchup is very deserving, because we both were just stomping people with triple ACDC the entire weekend. So finally we get paired into each other. So one of us has to win to go on to the finals. And if we would have got paired into either Tony for the sisters, and Tony went into, I believe, who did he go into? T-Sons or Corn? I forget who Tony beat round 7 or round 8, but if we would have all faced each other and then us two went to the finals to do ACDC versus ACDC, that just would have been insane for Games Workshop to try and figure out what the hell's going on stream. So we didn't go on stream because it would have just been brutal and everybody would have hated watching it. So the other two people went on stream. Now I'm at this point where I can't go on stream because all of my guys are essentially 3D printed. Like, all the Trader Guardsmen are really cool 3D prints, but they're all 3D printed. And some of the other Trader Guardsmen are actual Guardsmen from Guard. All the ACDC is fine. Rhino's fine. All the characters are fine. And then the Dark Apostle character is 3D printed. The Demonettes are 3D printed. And I believe that's it. So I couldn't go on stream because Games Workshop, you can't have 3D printed models. So I said, hey, I can't play on stream unless I run my models, because they're all color coded. Like, imagine running 205 models and not have color coded models. You'd pull your hair out. Your opponent would hate playing you. You would hate playing your list. So it's just almost impossible. So I've been playing this list for 30, 40 times, and they're all color coded. So in my head, I know exactly what is what and where everything's moving. So after this game, they had to put me on stream because we're going into game 9 and I have to run my model. So they didn't have a choice. But let's go into this game. So it's the 9-inch deployment in the circle. He put his bikes up to try and stop my turn 1 scout. And then his scout unit was the red unit. He's got 2 other units over here. 2 Vindicators, 2 Predators, 2 Rhinos. No, 1 Rhino. 3 Predators. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3 Predators, 2 Vindicators, a Rhino with a Lord and Legionnaires, 1 Cultist back here, and then triple ACDC. He didn't have Cypher this game. 2 bikes as well. I think that was it. I think he should add Cypher, definitely, because that's a really good Chaos Space Marine matchup. Because then I can't do the full rerolls to hit and wound. I can't... what else do I have? That's really it. Like, you basically would use it for my full rerolls to hit and wound. So he has a scout unit up here. I put my Nurglings right here to try and stop his scout move. So I put 1 Nurgling right there, 9 inches from that corner. So that way he literally can't scout anywhere forward. And then I put the other one 9 inches away from this bike. So that way these guys can't go diagonal this way. They can't go diagonal that way. They can't move forward at all. So that stops his scout move in its tracks on turn 1. He can only go diagonal or sideways along the board edge because I'm outside 9 inches of his deployment zone. But yeah, I sacrificed my Nurglings to stop him from getting closer to me. Our Chaos Cult out threats his cultist because of the extra 2 move and the extra 2 advance and charge. So we just have to stay outside of his threat range because we can get closer to him to get the charge off before he does. So that's kind of the name of the game. This game is doing measurements and figuring out where his guys are and where my guys are to figure out like threat ranges, kind of like chess. So he gets turn 1 this game. His turn 1. Going first, he moves up his bikes. Let me see if I get a picture. I don't have a ton of pictures this game. Okay, so he moves up his bikes to screen block or move block. He doesn't advance, but he moves up these guys, 6 inches up to here. Doesn't want to get the charge off on the Nurglings because then he would obviously be closer to my guys over here. So he's trying to stay 28 inches away from my green squad down here. So I can't basically move up and charge him turn 1. But he does give me his bikes, his other bikes, and the Rhino. So he drops off the Legionnaire units over here with the Lord, so they're waiting on the other side of the Vindicator. Everybody else can advance in Raiders and shoot, so he basically just advances everything forward to get line of sight on everything. Like, Raiders are just so good. He runs up his cultists down here to get on that secondary or mission, runs up his other guys back here. The Predator runs as far forward as possibly can over here. He's got line of sight with, I think, the Vindicator and Predator to shoot my Seekers that scouted it this way. but he wasn't able to get the line of sight from this predator going diagonal. He rolls a 3 and then he moves at 15, and this is game 8, so we just have so many mental like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, didn't you roll 3? He's like, oh fuck, my bad. So then he has to move his vehicle back like 4 inches, so he wasn't able to get line of sight, because originally it was on the other side of this laser right here, like right there. So I was like, what'd you roll? He's like 3. I was like, what's your speed? He's like 10. I was like, let's measure that again. So then we move him back, and then he doesn't get line of sight because this little triangle thing right here. So he couldn't see the Seekers with that predator, or else they would have died. But he still has this objective because I can't get anything near this fucking double ACDC brick. And then I, again, try to block these guys off turn 1. He then shoots everything in, bolters, autocannon, like everything. He's trying not to shoot my ACDC because he doesn't want to give them movement, so he starts killing my chaff, which is smart by him. So he kills all of the cultists up here. He takes these guys down to 1 guy, which I leave the Melta, which is hilarious. So the Melta guy is the only guy left in this Trader Guardsman. He shoots all but like 2 or 3 in this Trader Guardsman, so he kills my Trader Guardsman, which is super smart on his play. And then nothing gets shot down here. Nurglings, I think, die turn 1 because the Predators just annihilate them, 3 damage, and then the last cannons. So he kills my Nurglings. Nurglings are dead, which I needed them to scout. If I went first, I would have moved them back and kept them defensive, because -1 to hit into a Cursed Cultist is just super good. So if I didn't have to, if I went first, he would have. I would use them defensively rather than offensively. So I use them offensively to stop his scout move, and then if I go first, I just run them away or back them up. But I needed to, they just died. So turn 1, they just die. So our turn 1, we kill these, we take these guys' bikes down to 1. This guy died from a Dark Pact, so we had to kill one of his bikes from a Dark Pact, which left this space right here. So this space being open let me do the advance and charge through this little gap and get into his tanks up here. So we committed on our turn 1 by advancing. I think we rolled like a 4 or 5, advancing through this little gap, and then we got the charge off on this rhino, and then the bikes. He did counter charge the dudes over here, so they counter charged through the tank and got in combat over here. So his Marines with the Lord free counter charges right through and gets to in combat. So he's got these guys in combat, 2 tanks in combat, these bikes in combat, this thing surrounded by a bunch of Marines, and we charge these bikes with these guys to kill them. And then again, same as last game, we leave 1 cultist near 3 inches of this objective, so that way they're able to pile back and get on the objective down here. So we charge up and then kind of move back after we kill all these guys, but now we're still within threat range of these dudes, so we're kind of like on the other side of the wall waiting. He would have to roll like a 6 and then get the charge off, which is where he starts moving. So after my turn 1, he takes the yellow unit down to only 2 guys. He character assassinates my character with his Lord, so he precisions out my character, which is super smart. So now that unit doesn't have the 5-up invuln save anymore. He shoots. We take this. I didn't. He counted up and then down with the dice. So I was super confused most of the game with the dice. Like I didn't know how much each vehicle had. So if you're doing vehicles, like have a counter, or if you do the dice, like either do one way or the other. Like this one has a 1 on him, which I don't know if that's he took 1 damage or has 1 left. This one down here has 8, so I think he has 8 left. And this guy has 1. I don't know if he took 1 or has 1 left. So like it was really confusing to try and pay attention to that, because then I didn't know which one to focus or which one not to focus, because you have 3 of each tank. So I like didn't know what to do. But I think this guy took a bunch of damage from the big guys. When he did charge in the Legionnaires, I put as many big Legionnaires or as many big guys as I could into his Legionnaire unit to try and kill them. I took him down to the Lord and 1 Legionnaire left. So he's got the Lord, 1 Legionnaire left, all of the tanks. I didn't really kill a lot. Killed both bike units. This guy lived with 1 because they were in combat with here, but I couldn't put any attacks in the bikes because there wasn't enough attacks to go around. He then falls back, gets to the objective. All these guys spread out to block the backfield. This Seeker is alive. So the Seeker moves up and does sabotage, I guess. Whatever the one that does 3 inches from the board edge. So they did it, and then these guys did it because they weren't battle shocked the next turn because he didn't go after them. This rhino falls back. It was surrounded, but he didn't roll a 1 or 2 for the desperate escape, so he lives. So the rhino falls back. We have Cypher behind this wall. All these green guys charge or move up. I then have to figure out how to play this 4D chess type game. So this game, he has all of his guys here. Now here's something else that came up with pile in and consolidate. There's 2 different type bullet points with pile and consolidate. See this guy right here on the corner? He's within 4 inches of this rhino right here. So if he were to pile in, I'm sorry, if he were to consolidate, these guys are dead. Yeah, these guys are dead. He kills them. So if you were to consolidate, you have to consolidate if you can get into combat with another enemy unit. So it goes, can you get into combat with another enemy unit? If you can get in base to base, you have to get base to base. If you can't do either one of those, you can then pile towards the closest enemy objective if you can get onto the objective. If you can't get onto the objective, you can't move at all. So you have to get into combat if you can with your unit. So since this one guy is within 4 inches of the rhino, if he were to choose to consolidate, he can't choose to move just each model. Like, he can't choose to just move this part of the Accursed Cultist and leave this guy out. Since this guy's within 4 inches of my rhino, he has to move up and get into combat with this rhino, which would take these guys off the point, which would get me this point as well. So he's taken over this objective with these 3 guys. So he moves off. I would have held the objective. So he then chooses not to consolidate, because if he does consolidate, he has to get this guy in combat. That's how it works with consolidate. Pile in is different. Pile in, you can choose which guys to pile in. If you can get base to base, you have to get base to base, but everybody else can kind of go wherever the fuck they want, closer towards the closest enemy unit. So if this was the pile in step, he could choose not to pile in these guys because they can't get base to base, and he can choose not to pile in these guys because they don't have to get base to base. Consolidate, if you can get into combat, you have to get into combat. That's this guy right here. So that was what we were like kind of going back and forth with, and we had the judge come over and make the call. His buddies were like, yes, that's how it works, stuff like that. So I was just trying to explain to him the steps with step 1, step 2, step 3. Literally is in the app. If you pull up consolidate and pile in steps, like his bullet points, just go straight down to bullet points. Can you do this? No. Can you do this? No. Can you do this? No. Then you're good. And then you kind of go like that. So knowing the core rules to stuff like this for melee armies is key to playing any melee army that out there in 40k. Okay, that was a mouthful. These guys rapid ingress to get on the point. When I asked line of sight and stuff like this, he couldn't get line of sight with really any of these guys. I think you can get line of sight with the Predator or this thing. He couldn't get line of sight to this thing, but this thing has a Havoc launcher, which he shot into my Demonettes, which was like, oh, that's cool. I thought you couldn't shoot anything, but then he forgot that I forgot the Havoc launcher. He forgot the Havoc launcher, and then he shot the Havoc launcher into the Demonettes. Killed 1 or 2. I was like, all right, cool, nice. And then everything else kind of tries to block out, the backfield. I then rapid ingress up at the top. So I rapid ingress my guys up here. And then obviously he's not going to shoot my guys over here, because if he shoots, I then get closer. And most of his big guys are down here. So if he charges, obviously, me with the guys up here, it's not good. No, I don't rapid. I just bring them on. So I rapid ingress these guys to get on the point, which didn't matter because he stole the point from me anyway. So that kind of sucked. But I did bring my guys on over here and make a 9-inch charge. So that helped out a lot, because when I made that charge, I got into combat with these 2 vehicles and I think did a bunch of damage to this Predator and surrounded it. And then down here, we had to figure out how we're going to shoot this Accursed Cultist unit, in which order. So how we lined it up was we took all the guys out here. We took Bile's unit out. We moved up all the guns as we possibly could into this unit. And then we moved up our green squad as much as we could, so that way if he does move backwards, with these guys, I could still potentially make that charge off. So I want to get the initial charge off on him before he gets the charge off on me. So we line up everything. And this we'll get into a little bit. But for this, we start shooting a bunch of pot shots, everything into here. So we start killing all these guys. His character is right here. So he starts taking from back here, taking all these guys out. Dead. He leaves all of his big guys, which obviously is what you do with Chaos Cultist. And then he's got his character, a couple small guys, and then all of the big guys left. After we get all the shots done, all he has left is like the 6 big guys, 2 little guys, the character, and maybe like 1 blade guy. And then we make the charge. So we make the charge with the green squad, with Cypher, with Bile and his unit, and then everything else kind of takes over the objective over there. So we make the charge, 9-inch charge with the tanks up top, and then we charge in on all of this. So now here was what else came up. So with the movement and stuff, he was moving models and consolidating and piling and stuff like that. Getting base to base, when you pile in, you have to if you have to. So these guys would pile in there, they were piling in there, they were piling in there, all that stuff. He was saying that we couldn't get Cypher in like to combat here. Because Cypher made the charge as well. So Cypher can pile in and then charge and do whatever. So I wanted Cypher to go before these guys because these guys were there to just finish up the unit. Bile precisioned out the character. So when Bile made his charge, Bile piled in onto this objective or this terrain feature, got line of sight to his character, killed his character, which then took away his 5-up invuln save. And then he kind of moved in and tag this unit, and now it's Cypher's turn. So Cypher has to be able to pile in on the other side of here. Now 3 inches from the back of his base would land him there to get on the other side, which then would put him within 1 inch of this guy. He can go directly across, he can go diagonal, as long as I end within 1 inch, which would be right about here. As long as he can end within 1 inch anywhere there, he's able to kind of pile in, get in combat, and then shoot a bunch of times to try and do more damage. Now he can't interrupt because it would be 3 to interrupt because Cypher's there. So Cypher kind of helped with the interrupt as well. But he gets in, does a bunch of damage to them, and then I finish him off with this green unit. So the green unit then piles in and kills the rest of the squad. Killing the squad, we shot the Lord and the other Legionnaire before we charged. So the Lord and the Legionnaire died to grenades and meltas and plasmas and all the Traitor Guardsman shots. So we didn't have to worry about the Lord anymore. So Lord dies, Legionnaires die. The tank up top, I think, died, pilot into the Vindicator. Vindicator's 2-up save, so we're not going to do anything to the Vindicator. And then everything else finished off this 1 ACDC unit. So after this turn, we have our red unit at the top, which is full. We have most of this green unit down here. We have Bile, his unit, a bunch of Traitor Guardsmen left, the Demonettes at the top. And I believe that is it. So after all this is said and done, it comes down to clock. So you can see going into this turn, I had 40 minutes, I had 24 minutes. When they put the clock down, it was on his time. Once we found out that it wasn't his time, we hit it over my time. It got into, I wouldn't say an argument, but like a conversation. And I don't bash people online. Like there's no point to do that. It got to a point where one party says one thing, one party says other thing. We have a judge there watching the entire time. The judge literally was ruling everything the entire game. His friends are there, my friends are there. Like everybody was just watching, and it was just super complicated the entire game. And it's going to be because we have triple ACDC versus triple ACDC. Like this game is just insane. Plus, whoever wins this goes to the final matchup, game 9, to try and win Nova Open. So got to a point where he clocks. No more time left on his clock. I have about 10 minutes left on mine. So at this point, I see that he clocked. I still have 10 minutes. I then just start running everything forward. I'm like, all right, how many bodies can I get on objectives and do missions to try and keep scoring? And at this point, it's like he can't do anything besides make saves and any primary that he's on the points with. So I leave this thing down here open, like he can have that score the rest of the game. Up here is basically open, like he can have that. I can't touch that. And then I basically hold these 3 objectives and just score primary and secondary to basically get as much as possible to win the game. At the end of the game, it came down to, I don't think I took a picture of the score. I did not in this game. So this game we finished off with us winning based off of clock, because the round stopped. And what sucked was because the guys on the top table, the other stream game, was still going. So like, how come they were able to still go, but we weren't able to still go? Like that's what me and him didn't really understand. And if we would have just played this on clock to begin with, like from the beginning, it would have been so much easier to be like, all right, you have this amount, I have this amount, let's keep going, you know? So like, again, another game that came down to the clock, where if we would have just started in the beginning with clock, it would have been such a easier game to explain, like, no, you can't do that, and no, I can't do this, because we ended on turn 3, I believe, before anything else kind of like happened. So if we went to turn 4 and turn 5, he would have had his guys move up towards the center, make charges, all that stuff. It's just such a complicated thing. I was like, bro, next time, come up to our area. We'll get a full game in from start to finish, take our time, have some beers, and just play a full game just to see kind of what would have happened. So I invited him up to kind of play, you know, a game like that. We shook hands, you know, apologized, both got heated, stuff like that. So it was tough. It was tough to see that and to get a game that close to then just kind of call it after round 3 with clock. So I apologize. I don't know what to do. Like, the judge was like, hey, it's over, dice down, can't do anything. That's one of the head judges at Nova. So that was the game, guys. So basically we had this much of the board down here. Rhino was dead from a Melta, but we had most of the board here. He had a Predator, 2 AC/DC bricks, a Vindicator, and a Vindicator. This Predator dead, that Predator was dead, Cultist in the back, that Rhino was dead. So all he had left was 2 AC/DC bricks, a Predator, and 2 Vindicators. Everything else was dead. I had just a bunch of random cultists all over the board, just trying to, like, I was going to move block them so that way he couldn't get onto objectives and just hopefully try and win primary and secondary that way. That would have been my game plan going into turn 4 and turn 5. So I think I would have had it if we would have went to turn 5, but again, we have no idea. So that's really what it came down. I had a full AC/DC brick up top here into both these vehicles. I could have did full rolls to hit and wound on this vehicle, try and kill it. Yeah, who the hell knows? All right, so that was game 8, guys. All right, let's get into the final game, game 9 against Tony, one of our buddies, one of our good friends. He plays Grey Knights, he plays Sisters, he plays Custodes, he plays all the top meta lists, and he's one of the best players in the area. He already has a golden ticket. I already have a golden ticket. So we're basically just playing for title of Nova Open. This is actually streamed. If you guys are interested, it's on the Twitch stream at Games Workshop. And this game was one of the closest, fun, intense, friendly games I've ever played in my life. I think he got a mission that was really beneficial for both of us. This was Ritual, Swift Action, and Crucible Battle. So Swift Action benefits me a lot, which I didn't really use throughout the entire game. I should have. It's advance and charge and do an action in combat with a battle line unit. Not advance and action. So all battle line units, I have about 13 battle line units. They can then basically do an action if they advance, or in combat they can do an action. So this game was just so bloody. I've never played the Flame Rose Bloody, whatever the hell this detachment is. It's the best one that Sisters have, and he played it to a T. In the bathroom after the game, right, he said I was the first loss in 10th edition with this list. I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like, such a cool moment. If you guys watch the game, make sure you watch and like just see how close it was with the movement. Like, we played one of the tightest games I've ever played. But let's get into it. So deployment, I didn't take a ton of pictures because it was streamed. So deployment was the diagonal deployment to Ritual, so you have to make objectives. And it's funny because I was using the Dirtbag Nation objectives on the Games Workshop stream, so I got away with that, which was cool. We didn't have to use these big mats from Games Workshop because we couldn't be able to fit them. Like, it would have taken up too much time putting down those big ass mats. So we used the little objective marks that we have from Dirtbag Nation, which are for sale. We have Chaos side and Grey Knight side. So I go second, which I think he didn't want first. He wanted me to come out and him to just move up and shoot the shit out of me. So he went first, moves up, puts down an objective right there, and then just kind of camps it. He moves all of his guys up cautiously, keeps everybody behind. He had a unit of initiates that had the move block, so they basically blocked my units from getting through like this wall. He had some battle sisters right there. He had more battle sisters down here. This was at the end of turn 2. Yeah, this was after turn 2. This was top of turn 2. This is the picture. I kept my Seekers safe this game because I didn't want to just throw them out and just give them away for free. These sisters back here with the flamers, the 10 jump pack infantry, they move up, shoot, and then move back. They have the cannoness leading them, which has just 1,000,000 shots, which could kill an entire unit pretty easily. Vol with the full rerolls, 3 battle cannons, 2 battle cannons, 2 immolators, 3 immolators. So 3 immolators, 2 battle cannons, the Triumph, Vol, Battle Sister, the Scout guys, the Scout sisters, this Priest character, the Initiates, Novitiates, those chicks, jump pack, and I believe that was, and she had jump pack in reserve as well. So 5 man with flamers in reserves. Okay, so that was his turn 1. Basically moves up, makes a mission, and just does, you know, whatever secondaries he can, and just waits. So then my turn 1, I said, all right, we're committing. I scouted again, same thing. I scouted in this building. I advance up, and I charge his officiates, whatever the hell that unit is, the kill team. I charge them, pile in, and get into the battle sisters over here. So we didn't want to tie up Triumph because she has like 16 attacks, but OBSEC is like 5 or 6. I think it's 6, and then the battle tank is 3. So all I needed to do was get more bodies on this objective as I could. This tank, I think, was a little bit further back, so the tank wasn't there. So all I had to do was get more than 6 bodies on this tank to keep them at a 0 for primary, because in Ritual you can only get primary points for objectives in the center. So the only one was down right there, so I'm basically fighting for that one to try and keep them at a 0, which we do. The green squad, which started here, was able to move up and charge as well. So we had the yellow squad charge in and the green squad charge in to just give him 20 bodies or 40 bodies to deal with on his turn. So he has to choose which one is he going to go after. These guys are a lot more defensive because they're behind the wall, and then these guys are the ones with the invuln save. These guys don't have an invuln save, so I wanted to be a little bit more defensive with them, and then these guys did. So he basically chose to go for these guys because all the flamers could get line of sight, the Vol can get line of sight, all the battle cannons can get line of sight, but he has to think, if he kills somebody, Howling Horde is going to move up. So Howling Horde moves up and gets, I believe, the Triumph in combat, which he's fine with, because if he gets into combat, he has like 16 attacks, and then he can just countercharge with Vol's unit over here. I rapid ingress with these guys up here. Once these guys come in, he doesn't really want to put a lot of shots in them because then they get to move up, but I need to figure out how am I going to get past this move block tank. Tony did so good at move blocking. Move block tank, there were guys behind here. I was able to fit some small bases in there to get that charge off and then put the rest of them into that tank. He does armor contempt on the tank, but I was able to still kill the tank and kill these initiates behind the wall and then pile into this tank over here. So now we have a full red unit piled into this tank and just kind of right there. He's got these battle sisters back here, which are about to hop out again and just annihilate another unit. This is kind of what it looks like. So Demonettes came down on my turn. Green guys moved up. These guys surrounded the tank. Killed all the dudes over there. Killed the tank. And then tagged this tank as well. Seekers moved up from back here. Moved up 14. He overwatched with, I believe, Vol's unit or the battle cannon. The battle cannon. The battle tank overwatched, killed 4 Seekers, but it was still able to make that charge off on that one tank, and the green unit moved up, charged, and killed the tank. So the green units killed that tank right here. These guys killed that tank right there, piled in. Now all he has left is these jump pack chicks, which can kill a unit every single turn. The Battle Sisters in the back, Vol, tank, tank, tank. Triumph is in combat with the green unit, which don't have a save, so once she swings, she kills a bunch of them. He made another objective back here with the Dominion Sisters, and the jump packs came down outside 9 inches of this unit right here. These guys then scooch up 12 inches to get shots off on these guys. He desperate escapes his Rhino to move closer to this objective, so he basically moves diagonal on this objective, steals this objective from me, from the beast that came down. So he ties that, so I'm not able to get that for primary. Cypher's there to just be annoying. He can't reroll the Desperate because of Cypher, but he doesn't die anyway. So doesn't die. Flamer chicks hop up 12, shoot these guys dead with the Flamers, and then charge this unit. So they basically kill a ton of bodies in one activation, one round, by shooting and then charging and killing all but 2 of these dudes, and then all of these guys down here. So they're just sweeping up bodies. I got a full like 10-man squad here, so it's 20 OBSEC on that point. There's 20 OBSEC on that point. And then I got another thing that I'm going to build, another secondary or another action mission. The objective from there, 12 inches away, gets me another one over here. So I'm just going directly down the line and making another one up top here. So that way I can have another 20 OBSEC on this point as well with the Rhino. So after this turn, let me see if I can change this. Cool. So this is where the board ends up. These chicks charged in here. Initiates move up. Vol's crew charged in, sweeps up this squad pretty easily. These guys hop out, shoot, and then hop back. Now instead of hopping behind the cover over here, they hop diagonal, so they go kind of behind this wall over here because they're trying to stay away from these guys. These guys were able to kind of back up. I killed enough of them in this direction for them to do the same thing as I did in T-Sun's mission, where they moved the opposite way because this is the closest vehicle. So when they moved directly back, these guys were able to stay behind cover. So I'm able to kind of advance up, not get overwatched because he's not going to overwatch me with a tank, and then try and make the charge to try and go after these Flamer chicks, which are just melting my entire army. So super tough. Everybody else moved up. The Demonettes scooch up to the wall. Vol kills this squad pretty easily. He makes another objective all the way back here, which there's almost no way I can get to. So Tony's doing the same thing that I'm doing by basically going down the line and just camping, 5, 10, 15 points every single turn, because you don't get any points for your home field objective in this mission. But after this turn, we scooch up and we're pretty low on clock. Like, we are in turn bottom 2 going into bottom 3. So this is top of 2, about to go into bottom 3. I have 28 minutes. He has 21 minutes. Me and Tony are just back and forth on the clock every single time, making saves. Like, if you don't know clock in the competitive scene, I would definitely start practicing every single game you play on clock, because mastering the clock is key to winning GTs because of this exact situation. Like, if he didn't really know how to play clock, or I didn't know how to play clock, one of us would have clocked way earlier, and just taken advantage of not knowing the clock. So the clock is key in high matchup GT plays. Every single GT should be played on clock. If you have a clock, bring a clock with you and put them on the clock. Most events like FLG, if somebody wants to play a clock, you have to play a clock. In Nova, you don't have to play clock. Now, since this is the final game, they had to wrap up at a certain amount of time. So me and Tony played clock from the beginning. So that's how it worked. After this turn, again, you can go back and watch the full game on stream. But after this turn, it just came down to try and rush and get primary/secondary scores. So at the end of the game, we finish up by killing these chicks with some shots with our traded guardsman and Cypher. Cypher moves over, gets some shots off. Cypher stays within 12 inches of Vol. Bile gets out of the tank over here, moves up, and I want to get the charge off on this tank. So these dudes scooch up and then make the charge. These guys scooch over to take over this objective. The Demonettes scooch up behind the wall to make the charge off onto this tank to steal the backfield objective. These guys advance and charge 6 all the way up in between this ruin. So we get some shots off on these Battle Sisters back here to clear the way. And then we make the charge into the I believe, the tank, and then we pile into the sisters over here. So we're able to get, I think, 2 or 3 of the big guys into these sisters. I think it was only 2, because Tony spent 1 CP to countercharge, which was so smart. His last battle sister into my other big abominant to stop him from consolidating and get another big guy into the sister squad. If I would have got 1 more big guy into the sisters, I probably could have wiped the entire 10-man unit, taking it down just to the character. So that was clutch play by Tony, really, really smart. So the red unit kills 8 battle sisters, so it only leaves 2 with the character. We tie up this tank with the demonettes. Vol's still alive. These guys, I believe, die. Don't know how they die. They might still be alive, I'm not sure. Maybe I killed them with this combat. Triumph is still alive. These girls with the character are still alive, so they're camping these 2 points most of the game. This freaking tank is still alive. And then this tank is surrounded by about 15-20 bodies on the last turn. So, going into turn 5, I clock. So I'm now clocked. Tony has about 7 minutes left, give or take. Tony has Vol on this point. Bile dies. Bile gets back up. Bile just sits there, surrounded by Vol and the 3 battle suits. I have about 15 guys on this point in combat with the vehicle still. Cypher is there as well, so she can't do any 1 CP strats. It has to be doubled. I have this objective pretty solid. I have this objective pretty solid, and I made another objective down here pretty solid. I get cleanse on turn 4, so I cleanse 2. And I don't think I could have got the last one, so I ditch it. But getting that cleanse on the last 2, on the last turn helped out. And then on turn 5, I had 15 for primary because I camped that one, this one, and then these 2. So I had the middle because of OPSEC. I had these 3 objectives, so I had 15. And then Tony, I believe, had 15 as well. Tony chose the secret mission. So he was only capped at a 40 for the secret mission, which he only had to hold 3 in No Man's Land, which he got pretty easily because he had 1, 2, and then 3. So he had all 3 that he made. And then at the end of the game, this was the final score. So turn 1, I had 10. He had 0 because we were able to stop his turn 1. Turn 2, I had 10. He had 5. Turn 3, I had 15 because that's when we start making 3 objectives. He had 15. So, or turn 4, 15. Him, 15 as well. Then this is where I clocked. So I had 4 from cleanse right here. I had 8, 6, 6. He had 4, 5, 8. So super close. I was up by 2, up by 3. So I was only up by 3 points with secondary missions. He then gets a 10 spot. On turn 4, I only get 4. So that was a huge swing right there. So again, I'm up by 3. Now he gets 6 on me. So now he's up by 3. On turn 5, he gets a 9 spot. I get a 5. Now the 5 is basically what won me the game. I think it was secured No Man's Land. So I was able to secure 2 objectives in the center because I didn't have to move anywhere. So I was still able to get that, and I got a 15 for primary. So me maxing out 50 for primary, him taking the secret mission, capping out at 40, he would have had 35. So him not taking the secret mission, he gained 5 points, which is good on his part. So he gets no, he has to cap out 20. So 15, 20, 20, which would have been 40. Yeah, so he gets 40 for primary. So I'm up by 10 on primary. He gets 36, I believe, for secondary. I get 29. So that is a difference of 7, but I get 10 for my primary. So I'm doing the math, guys. Like I'm like writing this out old school. They missed, not them, Tony did it because Tony's a pro. They missed, the Games Workshop missed my cleanse, which I said out loud, and I had plenty of guys I could have cleansed in the center objective as well, because like I can cleanse while in combat with this mission. So I had like 20 dudes here that could have cleansed, but I cleansed there and I cleansed there, which was, I already had bodies. So I was like cleanse, pass turn, I clock. He only had me 2 for cleanse. He's like, oh, I only put you for 2. I was like, nope, I could have cleansed here, here, or here, or here. Like, I could have cleansed 4 spots. He's like, oh, you're right. And Tony was like, yeah, I had you at 4. So Tony agreed with me. Tony already had 4 down. And then for the last turn, I had 15 for primary. He only gave me a 10. I don't know if Tony gave me a 10 or not, but Tony might have given me a 15, but the Games Workshop gave me a 10. So he had me at down 7 points, which would have had Tony win by 3, I believe, or 4. Like, he had Tony winning by 4. Once he added the final score of 5 and then the cleanse for 2, dude, winning by 3, final game. Me and Tony hug it out. Like, we were like, holy shit, I can't believe this was that close, and came down to literally the last turn, the last secondary. Because if I don't get this 5 right here, he wins by 2. So, like, this was such a good, close ass, great way to finish off a Nova game against one of our really good friends, Tony, playing Sisters, one of the top tier armies, against our Chaos Cult, which was ranked D tier, winning all the way, all these GTs, going all the way up. We got 4th at ACO, which we could have won. We won Lone Star Open, and then we win Nova Open, guys. So all right, let's get into it. We'll talk about what we loved about it. Tony, thanks for being such a good opponent. I love you. This is awesome. Let's get into wrap up of this Nova 9-game win series for Chaos Cult. Holy shit. All right, so it still hasn't hit me. We got interviewed by Art of War, Nick Nautabody. He hit me up, and we did a pretty cool interview that'll come up on the their Art of War podcast, and then we got a second part for his I think Patreons. He's gonna send that over to me so my Patreons can listen to us talk about the games and him interviewing me and stuff like that. So it was really cool to have Art of War reach out, and then a bunch of like Goonhammer. You saw Tactical Tortoise did a video. We have Allspec Tactics. Really, love emailing him back and forth. He's got over 300,000 subscribers. Who else? A bunch of people just reaching out, asking for either interviews or how the hell or congrats. Like, getting this much, I guess, recognition for the 40k Dirtbags is really the goal of going to these GTs and trying to place as high as we possibly can. I love everyone that comes up to me, even if you've never met me before. Come up, say hi, say, hey man, I saw you on YouTube. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Like, say whatever the hell you can say. Fuck you, I really don't care. But like, tell me what you like about the channel, what got you into 40k. If you say you're a dirtbag on the Discord, and you see me, I got limited edition dirtbag dice I give out. So that's at all the GTs. We have Las Vegas Open coming up. There's over 900 people that go, which is huge. And then we have obviously Worlds. So if you guys are going to Worlds and you happen to watch my videos, definitely come up and say hi and let me know that. But with this, I just can't thank you guys enough for pushing me and giving me the encouragement and insight on what works and what you like about the channel and what you like about the 40k Dirtbags. I started this channel really just to have fun and just kind of have like a side hobby, because I was doing YouTube for another game, Raid Shadow Legends, and then kind of switched once I started 40k. I was like, hey, screw that, let's just go full in on 40k. Then we hit 10,000 subscribers. Like, that was a goal from the beginning. And then after hitting 10,000, it's like, all right, what's the next milestone? Hitting, 1,000 a month in Patreon. Like, wouldn't be doing this without the Patreons. Like, supporting the channel is what gets me to the next step of going to more GTs, traveling more, doing more kind of like back end stuff, upgrading the channel, getting more lights and fixtures and dice and all that stuff. So without you guys' support, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be another YouTube battle report channel, and just having more people join the Dirtbag Nation every single day. Like, ever since winning Nova Open, we had like 50 subs, and then 45 subs, like 3 days in a row, I guess, just from the notoriety or hearing what we do, and like, oh shit, this guy actually has a YouTube channel. So we're trying to do a lot more tactics. I would always suggest learn the core rules of 40k, read the rulebook, learn how to master the movement phase, move blocking, consolidate, pile in, like all the stuff, because those core rules is what wins me the GTs, wins me the tournaments. You can play RTTs for fun and like run whatever list you want to run. Like me and this other guy are just making we're making lists just for shits and giggles for these RTTs, because as long as you know the core rules and you run, you know, whatever list you want to run, you're going to do well at RTTs just because of 40k knowing the core rules. So that's usually my suggestion for newer players. But if you do want to have that coach in your corner, definitely join the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. It's in the link below. But that basically what helps us grow the channel as much as possible. If you guys don't run Chaos, Death Guard, Custodes, or Grey Knights, we have coaches for every army. Actually bringing in other coaches from other teams who I play with that are local. Example, Tyler, who runs Chaos, Impure Guard, and other factions that I don't play. So he's actually going to help out and coach other people that play those factions. So we are trying to expand 40k Dirtbags coaching aspect. So again, if you don't play any of my armies, we do have coaches for you. And I'm still there to ask any questions about core, rules, army stuff, and everything like that. So I just want to say thanks, guys. Thanks for watching this 3-part video. Hopefully you guys are here until the end, but let me know what you want to see more of, whether it be tacticals, shorts. Shorts are getting more every single day, and more GTs coming up. So we're number 1 right now for Chaos. Hopefully we last to the end of the term for ITC rankings to try and stay number 1. That'll be 2 number 1 armies that I have under my belt, and then we'll probably switch to another army such as Death Guard, Custodes, Imperial Agents, or just a crew list. So there's a lot of stuff in the works for 40k Dirtbags. If you guys want to support us even more and you want to represent the Dirtbag Nation, buy the Dirtbag swag. It's just awesome shit that we're making. If you have any ideas of merch you want to see, let me know in Discord, so that way I can create the design, throw it up on the store, and then you can start purchasing it. The shirts are really soft, the muscle tees, the polyester jerseys, the tees with all the stickers, like they're just, that basically helps support the channel. These shorts are legit, super comfortable in the shorts. But guys, let me know in the comments below what you liked, what you didn't like. I'm still on a high. Still can't believe we won back-to-back super majors. But we got Worlds to keep it going. We'll see what the nerf brings, the nerf bat from Games Workshop, and we'll see everybody at Las Vegas Open. If you guys are heading out, definitely come up and say hi, and grow the channel by sharing with all your friends, and let's get the 40k Dirtbag name out there. So appreciate it, guys. Good luck, and we will see you in another video soon. What's up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are thinking about joining the Patreon page, we're going to go over each tier and how it's going to benefit you and what you're looking for specifically to get out of 40k in 10th edition coming up. There's a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of tactical videos up on the channel, which is for free. There's going to be a bunch of perks that you get specifically for being a part of the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. So first off, we have the first tier, which is $1 a month. You guys get first access to the videos over at patreon.com. You also get access to the Discord, which is specifically a private link in the Discord that only Patreon members can see. So you guys will have first access to that. Also a benefit is Patreons over the Dirtbag Nation get live streamed games on patreon.com streamed from YouTube, but there's only links specifically for the patreons.com. So not only do you get first access to these videos, you also get to see live stream games specifically only on patreon.com. The next tier is the Justicar. You guys get a shout out on every single video on YouTube. You also get to support us a little bit more. You get first dibs at voting on Discord, as well as you just kind of say, hey, I just want to be a Justicar Dirtbag and support you guys a little bit more than that $1 a month tier. But you get all the same access as well as the different color over on the Discord. So the third tier is the competitive Dirtbag. This tier, you get a lot more one-on-one coaching. This is a lot of the Dirtbags over on the Dirtbag Nation. They are able to send out messages one-on-one, go over list ideas, tactics, anything you guys want to talk about. When I was getting into 40K, or really any game in general, I always wanted to message the top players in the meta and just ask them questions. This $10 a month tier gets you that opportunity to message us one-on-one on Discord, so that way we can actually coach you, give you our insights, suggestions, and that's going to get you better at the 40k 10th edition as a whole. So that tier alone, just $10 a month to have one-on-one coaching, one-on-one messages anytime throughout the month,
that's going to be a perfect tier for you guys. Even if you're brand new to the game, we go over 1,000 point list, 1,500 point list, 2,000 point brand new starting list, team list, anything you guys need. That's what the competitive dirtbag tier is for. Also, you get a little bit red number name tag on Discord, so people know that you're really serious about getting into the competitive scene. The Grandmaster Dirtbags. This is the all-in-all $25 a month tier. You get one-on-one coaching, everything we said prior to this, but you guys get to see me, Mike, any of the other Dirtbags play your specific list that you want to see tested out live on one of our battle reports. You guys get to mention, suggest videos you guys want to see coming up on patreon.com. So you guys get the above first tier benefit of everything that we do over at Dirtbag Nation. All the support mainly comes from you guys supporting us over here at Dirtbag Nation. And Grandmasters, I can't thank you enough, but for $25 a month, you get one-on-one coaching and anything you want to see live on the tabletop. So you get to see a professional play right in front of you. You guys get to kind of like see it one-on-one, and I'm actually making this specifically for you. There's also TTS events that you guys can suggest. If you guys want to do a first 1 or 2 turn run through on TTS, we can actually log in and coach you one-on-one with that. If you guys see us at any GTs, you guys get special benefits, free dice, stuff like that. Anytime you purchase a merch thing on Discord, you guys get a free limited edition Dirtbag dice sent to you with every single purchase on top of that. So there's a lot of benefits coming up with the Grandmaster Dirtbag. You guys, I can't thank you enough for supporting us. Definitely let me know which tier would be best for you if you go over to patreon.com and specifically go to a tier. And make sure you don't forget to message me up on Discord. That's where we check every single day. If you guys are really into getting into 10th edition 40k, head over to Patreon, join the competitive Dirtbag or the Grandmaster. Message me as many times as you possibly want, and I'll coach you the best I possibly can on any specific army that you guys play. Mainly our armies right now, currently, going into 2024, is going to be Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Death Guard, and then we have Custodes, Sisters, and I think that's it going into the Wings of 2024. But again, any other army that you guys play, we have other coaches lined up for the Dirtbags that are ready to take on that role of the competitive Dirtbag page. So guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for joining the Dirtbag Nation if you guys are already part of us, and we'll see you in another video soon.